Members of the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress received certificates of return after convention. Opposition parties strategize as PDP factional leaders hold strategic engagement meeting with the ADC leadership in Abuja. More pressure on former President Jonathan to throw in his hat into the ring for the 2027 presidential contest. And voter education awareness campaign on the front burner as INEC and Nasarawa government join hands to drive the initiative. Our guests will give perspective to some political activities as they are related to the unfolding intrigues in opposition camps. These and more on our program. I'm Fisayo Ogunfuyi. Welcome. Members of the second highest decision-making organ of the governing All Progressives Congress and the National Working Committee of the party have received certificates of return following Friday 27 and Saturday 28 March 2026 National Elective Convention.
It was a brief ceremony at the instance of the National Convention Committee, and the task was simple: to present certificate of returns to all the 25 members of the NWC and 5 ex-officio members of the party who were produced through a consensus during the party's national convention. Officials of the party's Central Coordinating Committee, led by its chairman and former governor of Katsina State, Aminu Bello Masari, urged them to consolidate on the existing gains.
Normally, parties, especially the National Working Committee, will be under intense pressure for primaries. And I hope you will be able to resist the temptation and do what is right for the benefit of our party and our country.
We'll do all our best. We'll put in all our energy, all our effort to ensure that we deliver the members that will file up for election in 2027 in our party, that the party will do her best to ensure that all the candidates under the APC are delivered.
The national chairman of the governing All Progressives Congress, Professor Nentewe Yilwada, pledged to work more to deepen party's unity and ensure continuity of APC-led administration at all levels.
Also within the week, in what could be described as strategic political maneuver, the leadership of the Tani Muturaki-led People's Democratic Party, accompanied by Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, met with the David Mark-led National Working Committee of the African Democratic Congress, including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Earlier on that day, some leaders and supporters of the African Democratic Congress thronged the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Abuja to protest what they described as the Commission's alleged interference in the party's leadership dispute.
It's a closed-door meeting between the David Mark-led ADC National Working Committee, some of its leaders, which include former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Governor of Anambra State Peter Obi, former Governor of Kano State Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, and the Turaki-led NWC of the PDP, accompanied by Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State and other leaders. The resolution of the meeting was delivered thereafter.
We're on a solidarity visit. We've seen what has been happening within the political space, the court, and the protest today. So we came to show solidarity and to commit to a clean, democratic space.
In another development, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso, former Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal, former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi, and former Osun State Governor Rauf Aregbesola led the protest to the INEC headquarters over what they described as the Commission's alleged interference in the party's leadership dispute.
All right, well, opposition political parties are galvanizing support from Nigerians as well as also recalibrating themselves to put themselves in the best position as far as the 2027 Nigerian elections is concerned, and of course the off-season elections in Ekiti and Osun states. Let's welcome a PDP chieftain who has been in the party for years, talking about Elder Emmanuel Ogidi of the PDP. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
Good afternoon, viewers.
Yeah, it's interesting developments in the course of the week and perhaps in the past fortnight. Some parties coming up with the national conventions, some, of course, getting ready in terms of alliances. Your part of the PDP, so to speak, met with the ADC over the weekend, during the week. And are we seeing some alignments or realignments in the offing?
Well, I don't think it will. Alignment, maybe, yes, alliance, not really alignment. I think what we are trying to do is this. The APC is a monster. And APC is trying to consume multi-party democracy. And we're going to resist it. And that is why all the parties need to come together and say, look, this monster, we have to crush it. So PDP, those of us in Turkey-led, we're going to visit almost all the other parties, yes. Theirs was sudden because it was like what hit them was very heavy, you know. And don't forget, I don't know whether it's here, I've always said it that this next chairman we have is already partisan. Again, you can't blame him because his predecessor, with all the things he did, he was awarded ambassadorial position. So he's working toward that, I'm very sure. You see, but the umpire, perception is very important in life. If an umpire, whatever you do, must show that you are really an umpire, that you have not taken a side. But from day one, the way it's been moving, is very when it concerns the PDP too. He has exhibited that that institution called INEC has compromised. I'm sorry to say, but that is the truth.
Okay, but let's take this view on board, and then you are meeting with different political parties. Your party, as it were, the People's Democratic Party, there are still some questions to answer in terms of even the makeup now.
I agree with you. There's no doubt about that.
Because I would read perhaps after this a little bit in the course of the discussion a disclaimer by the other, part of the party. I thought there was supposed to be some moves as at last week to see whether there will be some interest.
Look, see, the APC has created a legal virus. Each time a party is trying to unite, they just drop the virus. And then there's a legal issue. They perfected it. And you see, that's why we must be very careful as opposition party. If you want to save democracy, then we must unite. That's what we're trying to say. Let us get united and forget whatever is our ambition. We should be ready to make sacrifice. That's what we are preaching to ourselves now. Because any platform we want to use, especially PDP, they are going to instigate that virus. We call it the legal virus. That's what it's playing. But we are still determined. Now look at the PDP. The legal virus. The Court of Appeal was very clear in his judgment, or in his rule, whatever you want to call it. By the rule, by further judgment, we had no leadership in PDP. Now, what was trying to keep us going was the appeal court in Ibadan. The court has said, okay, both sides, go and see how you can reconcile and come back to us. We were talking. All of a sudden, the wicked group said no, that they were recognized by the appeal court. It's not true. So they went ahead and did what they did. But we're just laughing. But you see, you don't take chances when you are fighting the APC. Because this wicked group, they are an appendage of APC. Because you can see from all their manners, they said they are working for Mr. President. So I don't know why people still pretend. We can't pretend anymore now. He's a very senior minister in this APC government. And then you're trying to tell me that he's not representing the APC? And it must be a joke. Yes, he said initially that the former NWC approved he could join the APC government. But now we can see that it was a big mistake. Very serious mistake. You can see that it's wrong wired. In fact, I just remembered one of our discussions. And let me reflect it here now. And pray you don't have a vagabond in your family. The day somebody in your family gets up and run wild the way this minister running wild, they're in trouble. He has so much money. How did he get the money? What is his source of livelihood? One man funding funding a convention.
But that's perhaps, just to, balance up what we saw at the convention. They said that, a lot of...
who came there? Who has money? Who brought money there?
We can't...
They're all former now. They're not serving. They're all former.
That presupposes now that if you are serving, you have access to funds.
But that is the truth. We can't pretend anymore now. Me, I'm former too, and I don't have money now. Look, you see, we should stop pretending and let us tell Nigeria the truth. Today, I'm ready to share the truth. We as politicians have failed Nigerians because some of us have thoroughly enjoyed the good things about Nigeria. Even before we started, I told you how we used to travel in those days. Nigeria was free. But then I remember that quotation in Shakespeare. He said, loneliness is young ambition ladder, where unto the climb it almost died at 10. Spawns and spawn the blaze degree which he did ascend. So Shakespeare and Julius Caesar who said that. And that's what's happening today. You are mentored,
Some have broken the ladder?
They burnt it. Why is it broken? But they forget that they're going to come down and they will crash. Because there's no more ladder to bring them down. That's what you see happening today. People have forgotten how they got to where they got to. Many of us know our upbringing. Many of us know how we have benefited from politics. Now the electorate, have we thought about, okay, this electorate who have been voting for us? That's why we pride ourselves as PDP. That is People's Democratic Party. Our strength lies with the people. Have we taken a step back to look, these people who have been voting for us, have we already given back to them? What do we see? A little discomfort, you jump, you go to another, a little discomfort. Can't you bear small pain?
Some say your party is probably even also to blame by opening the door to gales of defection in the past and, seeing other parties.
What did I say just
yes,
now? We politicians, I don't want to say we're perfect. No, we're not perfect. Yes, we should take responsibility. That is true. We opened initially. But must we continue in that? If you think something is bad, do you continue in it? But even during our time, we were responsible. We didn't crash Nigeria into one-party system. No. We allowed them. If not, okay, how did they win the election? If we're going to muzzle. But I can tell you for free today, I don't think there'll be any election.
All right.
You have to listen to it. The way the APC is going, with all 30 out of 36 governors, with almost 70% of National Assembly, and they're still agitated, still doing what they're doing, because the people will decide. And they are worried that if we go to a free and fair election, the people are going to turn against them.
Okay, that's the notion of most opposition parties at the moment, and we'll see
that
how
is
that.
Nigeria, not only opposition parties.
We also need to give the APC an opportunity to say, their own part, and they say
they will defend.
They say they are not responsible for the problems of your party. That is what they have said in several statements, that they are not responsible. You guys get your hearts together.
Now, when you say you're not responsible, your minister is running wild. What do you mean by that? Is he the minister of PDP or the minister of APC?
The question is left for,
so what are you telling me about?
Let's just take a few things very quickly. You have made so many points. Just like what we have said, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, say it has noted with concern the circulation of reports alleging that it held a meeting with the African Democratic Congress. The PDP Publicity Secretary, Jungudu Haruna Mohammed, in a statement, categorically states that it has not held any meeting. That's a faction of the PDP as well. I mean, that's, as it were, we don't even know how to to place, who is talking for which. But that's the other statement. And it says any meeting, formal or informal, with the ADC or any of its representatives, this family notes that no such meeting was convened and authorized by the party. So let's move on very quickly. Some issues. Yes, please do, please.
The PDP public secretary is Ini Emabong, please. Whatever they are saying, that's their wiki. You see, thank God we have already approached the Supreme Court. So I don't need to even discuss the matter again.
All right, we'll see how things pan out.
Sure.
Time is, time is there, and of course, the clock is ticking. But we'll see how things pan out. In case, this legal also continues, these arrangements, these meetings with other political parties, is perhaps to forge a platform that is formidable enough to contest key elections, starting with some of these off-season elections. But is it bearing fruits? The discussions, are they bearing fruit?
Of course, it is bearing fruit. In fact, if it was not bearing fruit before, but with what most of the parties are experiencing today, they will not know that it's very necessary. Some of us were skeptical before now, but with the happenings today, it has to work, or we're doomed.
All right, let's quickly take some other issues still around the elections. The Coalition for Goodluck Jonathan, the political support group, is calling on former President Goodluck Jonathan to contest the 2027 presidential elections. The group's leadership and their supporters converged on the former president's private office in Abuja to get commitment from him. Let's take that.
The convener Coalition for Goodluck Jonathan, Dr. Tom Ohikere, led members and supporters on the visit to the former president's private office. The coalition lone agenda is to plead with the former president to declare interest to contest for the presidency in 2027.
We want him to say something. We want him to declare. It's public. Everywhere that we have visited in the course of our nationwide consultation over the period of the last 6 months, the clamor for the return of the ex-president Goodluck Jonathan to power has been loud and unmistakably.
However, there is a debate raging among lawyers about Jonathan's eligibility to contest, given the 2018 constitutional amendment that bars those sworn in twice from running for presidency. Some argue the amendment should not apply retroactively to Jonathan, while others claim it poses a legal challenge.
He has not said anything. He's a member of your party. What are your thoughts?
You see, part of our problem today is because Jonathan is still a member of PDP. And the APC government is scared of Jonathan. Look at what those people did. They're not PDP people forever. They didn't say they were from PDP. It's a coalition of so many groups. And we're very proud that he's still a member of the PDP. Not the wicked group, because of course, if they have the opportunity, they will just say, look. So I'm happy that we're still being recognized. That one of us has excelled. One of us is a global icon. So why wouldn't I be happy? They're telling him to come. Why wouldn't I be happy? We're very happy. We're excited. In fact, with what has just happened now, if I have an opportunity, I'm going to say, oh, what are you waiting for now? Come, let's go. But the day the man says, I'm running, that is the day more virus will be infused into our PDP. But we're not going to give up. We won't give up. I thought I'd finished with politics, but I still see that I still need to do a few things. Because by God's grace, I've been involved since 79. In 1 month, I'll be 70. I wanted to take a rest, but no. I can't take a rest because I don't want to be a selfish politician. Because most of today's politicians are selfish. They've gotten their loot, they've run away. But those who are benefited, we want them to plow back. That is our sermon. And like the meeting they had I was excited. We suggested that the leadership should visit ADC on solidarity visit. And I'm happy that they've done it. I wasn't there, but I was excited they've done it. And of course, we understand that we're going to visit others. We're going to visit SDP, Accord, and so on. But you can see that each time they have seen it, you can see the problem there with Accord, see the problem with the SDP, see the ADC one now. It's frightening.
Okay, let's take one more from INEC this time. And National State Government, in collaboration with the Independent National Electoral Commission, is intensifying efforts to create awareness on the ongoing voters registration exercise in the state. The sensitization, which is to cover the 13 local government areas of the state, is being facilitated by the State Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism. And then we'll come back for the final word from our guest.
Though the voter registration exercise was flagged off last year and has recorded some level of successes, the sensitization is to ensure that the message reaches the grassroots for optimum impact. The first port of call is the palace of the Emir of Kefi, where the Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Dr. Tanko Ibrahim, said the objective of the campaign is to educate citizens in the state on the ongoing continuous voter registration and called on all citizens in the state to participate in the democratic process.
Without registration, even the most passionate citizen cannot contribute to shaping leadership or influencing governance.
The Public Relations Officer of INEC in the state, Issa Oga, encouraged all eligible voters to come out and get registered as he debunks the insinuations of payment before registration or collection of cards. The Emir of Kefi, Dr. Shehu Chindoya Musa, commended the Ministry of Information for initiating the campaign and promised to mobilize all eligible voters in Kefi zone to participate in the exercise.
We must appreciate the Independent Electoral Commission.
Bilkisu Umar Gurku, NTA.
All right, that's our final one. I'm talking about voter registration. But before we go, we've had Elder Emmanuel Ogidi, PDP stalwart, has been in politics, as he said himself, since 1979. And as an elder statesman, now you are entering the, seventh floor, as entering the seventh floor. Looking back in terms of now that we are in the political season, let's look at what is happening. I'm talking about the ruling party consolidating, the opposition parties coming together to form a formidable foe. This time around, not talking from the partisan perspective, but as a senior politician, what would be your plea?
My plea is that we should be honest with ourselves to fight this monster. APC is a monster. They don't mean well for Nigerians. People don't look. You see, look, let's start with hunger. Do you play politics with hunger? There's hunger in the land. And we are joking. They said, oh, there was nothing like a fuel subsidy. Now, they're hiding under the Iran war. Israel-Iran war. That's why fuel is now 1,400.
But other countries are equally tightening their belts as far as that.
That is why we should have planned for it. See, any serious government should not wait until there's an epidemic. Look at the flood. Even when the meteorologists say flood is coming, do we ever get ready? We're never ready for anything. It's like what is happening. That's why we politicians, we are now shouting, yes, because we're never ready. And insecurity. Look at insecurity. America has told them, please come back home. The same America that was supposed to join us in fighting Boko Haram is telling people to come home. Then what kind of fight are you fighting again? See, let's be serious. That's why I'm saying, look, if APC government was sincere, if you remember how they attacked us, Jonathan, oh, resign, you are incompetent. What are you waiting for to resign?
On that note, we round up the program because, of course, we also must give a balance to opposition voices. Elder Emmanuel Ogidi has been here on Political Update. Many thanks for your intervention.
Thank you
and of course, we will still bring you up because the political season is upon us. Hopefully, politicians will play by the rules and not particularly hit up the polity because, of course, when elephants are fighting, it's the grass, that suffers. We continue to make that plea so that we don't, completely incinerate the political space. That has been Political Update.
Joining the prayer.
Yes, that has been Political Update for today. We'll come again your way on Tuesday. Between now and then, let's play politics for the greater good and keep it logged on the Nigerian Television Authority for news reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye now.